They messed up giving me a mic. I'm just going to say that. Okay? All right. I have no timekeeping. We're going to have fun. They gave me 45 minutes to do this. And I figured since I work for a USDA, I should open up with an agriculture joke. But then I thought, no, that'd be corny. No, wait, there's more. Okay, all right, so I work for the USDA Forest Service. My name is Amtchat Edwards, education specialist. This is what I do all day long. I get to figure out how to communicate the messages of the Forest Service so that people will actually care and listen, all right? I'm not sure if you know it, but the U.S. Forest Service is actually your secret BFF, and I'll tell you how. We've got 191 million acres of land all across our great nation that's doing great work for you. It's cleaning your drinking water before it gets to you. It's providing all sorts of ecosystem services, sequestering carbon and all that good stuff on our behalfs all day, every day. Your secret BFF, okay. Our mission is to sustain the health, diversity, and productivity of the nation's forests and grasslands. Hold up, there's more. To meet the needs of present and future generations. So when I first came to the Forest Service, I was so excited because the future is in our mission statement. We get to work in posterity for the next generation, right? We've got firefighters, researchers, scientists. We have people whose entire job is to think about what is the health of this forest going to look like in 100 years. It's kind of awesome stuff, right? And, you know, cool people like me, you know, we do this kind of stuff. All right, so conservation education we do, this is really any good education leads to action or the ability to use that information, right? We all agree so far? Okay. Now, the way that I look at this is we put on 3 hats in our staff. We put on 3 hats. Anytime we have to do a presentation, create a product, do a program. We put on an educator hat, an entertainer hat, and a promoter hat. All right? So because education, we have to share some kind of valuable, nutrient-dense content. So even though I started off with really corny jokes, there's going to be some nutritional content in there. Agriculture, see what I did? Okay. All right. And then entertainment, I've got to do it in some fun way so you'll keep listening. Otherwise, I turn into that womp, 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 right? We watch that every Thanksgiving. And then promotion. If there has to be a solid call to action. There has to be. It's either I want you to do something or, hey, come visit your secret BFF again, right? Okay, so these are the 3. I really want you to keep these hats in mind, and let's see the tools that we're going to show you, the way that we have come to our magic of overcoming these 2 great hurdles in any presentation. They are so what and now what. I'm going to run through 5 programs, and I want you to constantly ask me, so what? And then once I've overcome that hurdle, you can go, now what? All right? Quick story. I was a watershed educator. In my neighborhood, a watershed educator for Washington, D.C. and the whole Chesapeake Bay area. I get home, and there's an elderly woman in my neighborhood who gets out of her car. She puts a couple things on top of the car. And then I watched her grab a bag of like food stuff she had finished with and just kind of threw it on the street. I know, same response. I freaked out. So I go over there charging up. I've had a great day of doing watershed education, kids and happy people learning about their connection to the river. And so I go up there with that same attitude of, I'm going to talk to this woman. And she looked at me like I was crazy. I said, do you know if you by throwing that on the ground, you just threw that in the river. Now, that's the messaging that I had been using all day at work because I was doing watershed education. But to the stranger in my neighborhood, she didn't get it. She looked at me like I was crazy and totally dismissed me. I was wrong for just barging up to her. I own that now. But what I came from that is, so what? She had no reason to listen to me, a stranger, and you can't see the river from my neighborhood. But everywhere you are, you're affected because we're all in watershed, right? You know how that works? Sweet, I knew this room was sharp. Okay, so I vow to never have that feeling ever again, ever again. So the next time I taught about the trash and it ends up in the watershed, I would start off with, how many of you kids in the room like to eat seafood and the crabs, right? It's a big sense of pride in Maryland about the crabs, a lot of head nodding, right? And so I go, well, you realize if you throw food on the ground, you're pretty much throwing it on your plate. So we carry this so what message. That's our initial hurdle. And then now what? So now that you have information, what can you do to do something about that? So here are the silver bullets. You ready? And I'm so glad that this is being echoed throughout other presentations. What I've done is boiled it down for you. Mama Bird pre-digested it. Okay? All right? All right, so what? The big things that make people listen, if you are talking about their money, we've got lots of businesses coming on, CEOs are changing their companies to have greener practices. That's because they really cared about the environment, right? Well, I mean, they might, but unless it makes dollars and cents, he's laughing hard. So unless it makes dollars and cents, they're not going to do it. It wasn't until we changed the environmental messaging from save the polar bears to save some cash that people really began listening, okay? So there's one. Talk about people's money. Also, their health, right? Their health or their family's health. How many people in here know someone who has asthma? Right? So now that I've got a little bit of an emotional connection with you, are you going to listen if I start to talk about the ways that we can improve air quality? Right? Okay. The doom and gloom doesn't work. Optimism does. Hint, hint, hint. And then friends and peers. That is one that I'm not sure we utilize enough, but check this one out. When MP3 players came on the market, the number one indicator on whether or not you were going to get one was whether or not your friends had one. You remember that moment? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of hits. Yes, all right, I picked the right examples for this group. Here, okay, all right. So what? And then, now what is a lot simpler. If you can give people information that then leads to action, lots of these presentations are having websites. Go to this to stay informed, stay in communication. You can, what can I do to take this message home with me? And then there's the great big make a deal thing. A lot of times in the environment, that make a deal thing looks like community service hours for young people, or if you plant this tree today with me, I'll let you come and eat some of the apples of it in 3 years when it actually fruits, that kind of thing, right? Yeah. Okay. So, you remember, give me our so whats. What are the hurdles? What helps us overcome the hurdles for so what? Somebody's money. All right, let's stop there for a second. We have a program that you can utilize right now. It's called iTree. iTree is a tool that we put into anyone's hands. All you have to do is go to iTree. You can look up my tree. That's Amtchat's pet forest. There's a black locust there. I fill in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I fill in 6 fields about the type of tree, the size, and then what you're seeing on the right. Let me utilize the PowerPoint. All right, so what you're seeing on the right there, it actually spits out a dollar value of the ecosystem services provided by that tree. So you begin to overcome the hurdles of getting people to listen to you. Kids don't necessarily understand what a pound of carbon is, but they understand $20. Okay? There have been school districts that have used this, that are using this, and to show how much energy savings they're getting, because all that's calculated for you. They were even able to save enough money in one school to save 2 teachers because they were having to downsize, so they saved enough cash. Yeah, it's kind of awesome. It's a Save a Teacher program. Why not? Okay. iTree, free tool for you to use, homeowners, everybody. The National Enquirer, notice I said the 6th grade PhD. We have lots of research in the Forest Service. We have great researchers. We have some cutting edge science. It's awesome. Now, those PhD level papers are great among PhDs. And then sometimes, how many of you are weekly reading those? How many? Okay, I've got 3 hands. Sweet. 5, including, all right, sweet. So I've got 5 out of about 50. And that's cool. I'm glad, right? But for most of us, it's a little dry. So that pre-digested mama bird concept that I was talking about is what we do with our program called the Natural Inquirer. We take our Forest Service science and write it at a 6th grade reading level, so it can be utilized in a classroom. There are scientist cards that when you pull up the scientist card, how many people in here had heard of a silviculturalist before today? Sweet. How many people had heard of a marine scientist, marine biologist, right? Lots of hands going up. So this has over 100 cards that show different career options for working in the outdoors. Please check it out. It's free. We can send them to your classroom, to your house, to you. You can download them on PDF. They're awesome. This is how we get our message from the forest to the people. We decided to stop fighting technology. We're mixing screen time and green time. We have a partnership with the American Recreation Coalition where we're utilizing a mobile gaming app called Discovery Agents. You can download it. We've got it on over 60 U.S. Forest Service sites where rather than playing a video game where you go around collecting little monsters, you can learn about orienteering and then look up the blue spruce tree that you're looking at and then turn and face the direction where that blue spruce might have come from towards Colorado, all done through a game in augmented reality. Tons of fun to connect people to the outdoors, actually get them to engage. So we do our so what and then our now what really quickly once you go outside and engage. FS Nature Live, another tool, absolutely free. These are like movies that you can sit down, grab a tub of popcorn and learn about climate or fresh water. We literally tell the story of water from the forest to the faucet. It's all there for you. The number one hit thing on there is lesson plans. Teachers are utilizing this. I'm utilizing it as a dad because it's kind of awesome. I watch it with my kid, and when he's done, he gets up and goes, I want to do something. So I know that it's good education, so it's education to action. And then finally, nature's nearby you. We're the Forest Service, but we're not really self-serving. That's okay. I just want to connect you to nature. So if you go to discovertheforest.org, right on the page, boom, punch in your zip code, it'll let you know every single green space near you. Every single green space near you, not just Forest Service properties. And so the value and benefits of being outdoors, you've heard. We extol those all the time. Greater health, relaxation, all that good stuff. It's there for you. How many people right now feel like you have the information and you could do something with those tools that I just gave you? Like, really, do you feel like you could do something with those tools? Sweet. My job's done? You all are awesome. Thank you.